What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a new YouTube video, and today was the very last squat single before the competition next week. So the competition next week is the first division in powerlifting competition, equipped of course, and the goal there is to get the qualifying total. And today's single was actually a squat single with 305, which will be my opener next week. And even though the single looked heavier, I'm very confident that next week will run smoothly. The only thing that I had to realize also in this training session, and the reason why this rep was also so much heavier than expected, or how much heavier than it should have been, is just because on squats, especially on equipped squats, you really want to keep your composure throughout the entire lift and never really miss or sacrifice this tension throughout the lift. Hence, you will try and stay as static as possible, with as much tension as possible. The issue I'm having is, in order to get depth, I'm sometimes trying to almost free fall into the hole, which you could do raw. I really believe that raw, this is a valid technique, I guess you could call it, even though you should control it. However, in equipped, it's very different in the sense that you can rather not really control the way you will hit the hole, because the suit also wants to pull you in a certain way or a certain direction. Given this, I'm still very happy with the training, especially given that I only need my openers basically to already hit the qualifying total, and everything above that is just and the icing on the cake, if you would like to say it that way. So the main mission, of course, would have been to hit the qualifying total, to get out there, and then also really focus on peaking 1 month later for nationals and displaying the strength that was accumulated. And in order to do so, we also did some board presses. Board presses have been the substitute for equipped bench presses, so I haven't been in a shirt in a while now, and that is due to elbow pain. I have some kind of inflammation in some of the tendons around the elbow or something, and every time I put on the shirt, it's just pulling the triceps tendon in a very awkward way, which just gives me shooting pain. And hence we did some board presses, and actually I would say we did them very successfully over this block. I hit a single with 200 on board presses in this last week of doing, so to say, bench. And why I'm doing board presses is because it mimics the way equipped bench works the best. Equipped bench is really about trying to get down to somewhere towards the chest or upper belly, I guess, hitting the chest and then pushing backwards very hard. And the lower you get, the more tension you will have on the shirt. It's working like a slingshot basically, right? But then the upper part of the movement, you really want to have the triceps pushing power to also get into lockout, and that is where most equipped lifts also fail in the lockout, because it is very hard, or it tends to get very hard if you're moving loads that you would not be able to usually move raw, to then also lock out. It takes quite a bit of focus and technique to do so. So that was basically why I incorporated and still kept the board presses. I mean, board presses have been a very loyal exercise now for the entirety of the off season, but also now implementing or keeping it inside the preparation for the competitions, especially equipped competitions, made a lot of sense. And if something is working in your training, you really do not want to automatically take it out just because you want to change things or stimulus in your training. Instead, rather, you want to keep the things that are working and kick out things that aren't working. Never change a winning team is a great saying for a reason, and this also applies to your exercise selection. So I would rather say that you can always progress, and once you feel like progression has stagnated or you are not progressing any further, regardless of whether it is you're not progressing in the amount of reps you're doing, or you're not progressing obviously in the amount of weight you can move or the sets. If all these different factors are indeed stopping to move forward, then I would say it's definitely time to kick out an exercise. But until then, keep them in. That's it for this video, guys. Really appreciate you watching. As I said before, wish you all the love, all the power. Have a good one.